Rams house, we've got breaking news, and it is the news we have been waiting for, my friends. Welcome into a brand new episode of the Rams Report presented by Prize Picks. And today, if you haven't heard already, let me be your Paul Revere. But it's good news this time because the Rams have extended Matthew Stafford. The reigning MVP is here to stay, and we are fired up. If you cannot already tell, we're going to dive into why this is great. Obviously, we know it's great news, but we're going to dive into what makes it so great. But we're also going to have a conversation about how this affects our first-round draft pick, Tai Simpson, the timeline there, a lot to discuss, including the contract details, which we will also dive into. But before we get into all that fun, I got to let you guys know, whenever there is breaking news, whenever there is news around this Rams team of any kind, we are your one-stop shop. We make a video. Make sure you are subscribed because, my friends, we cover everything around this team, literally everything. And we have been on this Stafford extension news for months now. This is a video, this is the thumbnail from a video we made back in March, I think. Early March, probably, maybe late February even. I have had our doc formatted for this news for months at this point. But man, oh man, it is finally here. And let's get into the contract details with this thing. It is a 1-year, $55 million extension worth up to $60 million, which we'll talk about. And again, remember, good note by Schefter here, this doesn't cover Stafford for the 2026 season. It covers him for 2027. So Matthew Stafford with this move is committing to 2 seasons with the Los Angeles Rams. Here's the contract broken down a little more cleanly for you. $60 million in total value, of which $5 million is going to come as incentives. And now, we don't exactly know what the terms of those incentives are just yet. News breaking on this situation rapidly right now, so those may be available by the time this video is out. But at the point at which we jumped into the studio here to get this thing, trying to get it out as fast as we can for you guys, there were no details on exactly what those incentives are, other than the fact that they are worth $5 million in total. So this value could be up to 60, but the salary is $55 million. But overall, the biggest takeaway is Matthew Stafford has committed to 2 more seasons with the Los Angeles Rams, counting 2026, including 2026. And we're going to dive more into why that's so important, what that means for this Rams team, and what it means for a guy that I know a lot of you guys don't like to talk about, but we have to talk about our first-round draft pick, Tai Simpson, and how he factors into this equation because it has a huge impact on him. But before we get to all that, we got to give a shout-out to the sponsor of today's video, and guys, that is Prize Picks, America's #1 sports picks app. If you love daily fantasy sports or you just want to add more excitement to watching sports, you've got to try out Prize Picks. And it's a great time to get started on Prize Picks, too. With the NBA playoffs underway, the baseball season in full swing as well, there's no better place to get in on all that action than Prize Picks. And guys, it's never been easier to play than it is with Prize Picks. All you have to do is pick 2 to 6 players. You're picking from more or less on their stat projections, whether it's points, assists, rebounds, hits, home runs, or strikeouts. They've got plenty of options from all your favorite sports. Plus, they also have awesome social features. They allow you to easily tailor-fade your friends or even your favorite creators, including me. I'm on there at Jackson Durham with no spaces, and you guys can see my latest lineups and drop a follow on them or tail or fade, including this one that I've got going with Prize Picks' season-long projections. I'm going with the less on Fernando Mendoza, the less on Jeremiah Love, and the more on Jordan Tyson. So if you guys are new to Prize Picks, make sure you use our promo code. Download the Prize Picks app today. Use code HMA when you play your first $5 lineup to receive $50 in lineups. That's code HMA when you play your first $5 lineup to get an extra $50 in lineups with Prize Picks. The clickable link to download the app is in the comments and the description below. Let's keep talking about the beautiful news that we got today here with Matthew Stafford. I think my first reaction to this, outside of amazing, is, man, Sean McVay right now has to be over the moon. He's got to be jumping for joy, because I know over the last couple of months we've heard him talk about wanting Stafford back in 2027, even with the move that they made to go get Tai, even with the decision that they made to draft him. He has talked about how this is still Stafford's team, about how this is still Stafford's operation, about how he is so excited to run it back with him in 2026, coming off of an MVP season. And now the Rams organizationally ensure that it won't just be 2026 for Matthew Stafford. And of course, who knows? Maybe things change. But as of right now, Matthew is committing to another year with this team. And that, in my opinion, is excellent news for the Rams as a franchise. Because every season that Matthew Stafford has been at the helm of this operation, for the full year where he's been fully healthy, you discount that 2022 season, we have been incredibly competitive, and we have brought home a Super Bowl. I'm ready to go with Matthew Stafford for as long as Matthew Stafford wants to go with us. I think that is the Rams' mentality right now, even with Tai Simpson on the roster. But it does have an impact on Tai. It does have an impact on the timeline, if you will. Sorry, really, really bad pun there. I won't do that again. But I do think you have to understand that Tai Simpson's timeline is obviously going to be affected by Matthew Stafford's decision decision to not retire. If Matthew Stafford retires in 2026 or after 2026, you have 3 years of Tai Simpson on a rookie contract to evaluate what he is, to figure out if you're right from a Rams perspective, as a team, as an organization. Were we correct about this kid in our draft process, in our draft evaluation? Is he the franchise quarterback they are hoping he can be? I think so. They clearly think so, but it remains to be seen. We've got to see it in action for this guy to know that that's going to be the case. With Stafford now confirmed to come back for 2027 at the very least, it just delays the Tai Simpson question for a little bit longer. You don't get to find out how good Tai Simpson is for another year, and it shortens the sample you'll have to make a fifth-year option decision, and then beyond that, a long-term extension decision. And again, you're going to be making that long-term extension several years down the line, where NFL money, hey, it ain't going down. It's only getting bigger and bigger every single season. But you know what else is getting bigger right now? My excitement about the Rams 2026 NFL season. I'm having a Grinch moment, guys. It was already huge, but it is just exploding right now with Matthew Stafford re-signing. And if you are feeling the same way, if you're over the moon right now about Matthew Stafford coming back for the Rams, then I need you to rock a Heart Snatcher tee. These are, and this is my favorite, and I'm biased. I'm biased. But this is my favorite piece of merch that we have put out as a company, the Chat Sports Company. I think it rocks. I think it looks super, super cool. A lot of you have already picked them up. You've sent me photos of them on Instagram. Makes my day every single time I see those. If you have one already and you haven't done that, absolutely do so. Hit us up at the Rams Report on IG. But if you want to pick one up, if you want to rep Matthew Stafford, today is a great day to add a Heart Snatcher tee to your closet. If you don't remember, it's a reference to the divisional round game against the Carolina Panthers, where he told Davante Adams, let's go snatch these guys' hearts before that final drive. And then they went out and did exactly that. So why don't you go out and do exactly this and get yourself a Heart Snatcher tee? But let's keep rolling here, discussing Matthew Stafford. Finish it out. Man, I'm just fired up right now. Guys, I really am fired up about having the MVP back, not just for one more season, but having him back for 2 more years. Because I think while it does shorten your timeline to evaluate Tai Simpson, it makes you more immediately competitive. I don't think Tai Simpson in his first year as a starter, whether that comes in his second season in the league or his third season in the league, is going to stack up to Matthew Stafford, and that's okay. At the end of the day, that doesn't mean he's a bust, but it's just the reality of a young quarterback stepping into the NFL. The odds that he's going to come in and play like Matthew Stafford's been playing are incredibly low. So keeping the Rams competitive, that's great news. Matthew Stafford sticks around for more time. But also just from a Tai Simpson perspective, if you want to go with that angle, this gives him more time to learn and develop and learn behind a veteran quarterback who's still playing at the height of his powers, who has played for almost 2 decades in this league, not to mention also learning from the greatest offensive mind the league currently has in Sean McVay. It's just more time coalescing and developing in the best environment I think we've put a rookie quarterback in across the NFL in years. Like, there's nothing you could complain about with that at the end of the day. If Matthew Stafford's done after 2027, then I think it is a perfect timeline for Tai Simpson, and I would love to see Stafford just, after 2027, no matter how that goes, retire as a Ram. That's the one thing, and we talked about the Green Bay model in the last couple of videos. That is the one thing I think a lot of you guys made a great point of, is I don't want that element of the Green Bay model. I don't want to see Matthew Stafford play for another team the way Packers fans had to see Aaron Rodgers play for another team after his incredible tenure in Los Angeles. I think he's a Ram in the minds of every Ram fan, in the minds of most NFL fans at this point. They see Matthew Stafford as a Ram, and that should not change. He should finish his career with us and then allow Tai Simpson to take over. It shouldn't be Matthew gets pushed out. And I think an extension like this, even with the drafting of Tai Simpson, shows that the Rams are clearly still organizationally focused on Matthew Stafford. There's no desire to rush things in any capacity with Tai Simpson. They're going to let him play for as long as he wants to, and that is the exact right decision. So let me know, guys, are we fired up right now? I want to hear from you in the comments. If you're excited, hit the like button on today's video and make sure you're subscribed as well to stay up to date on all the Rams content that you need. As always, thank you for watching, and as always, let's go Rams.